And now let us go. We beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness.
3 days.
That we may sacrifice to the Lord our
God. That's when you...
And I am sure that the
always
king of
but
Egypt
you gotta
will
do
not
work.
let you go.
You got to do something first.
Not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand
Ain't gonna let you go till you do something.
All my wonders which I will do in the midst thereof.
I'm gonna make sure you guys do your work, because I'm gonna harden that motherfucker's heart. He's gonna say no. He's gonna hold on to you, and he's gonna treat you like shit while you're there. That's what happens. Lay down there and get your shit, man. Lord, every time I do something like you asked me to do, people, they suffer. But they don't realize that suffering is a beautiful thing, because it's taking away things. It's cleaning them out. This goes on and on and on. Keep going.
He shall spoil the Egyptians.
Oh, shit.
Chapter 4.
Oh, hold it.
Moses answered and said,
Hold it.
Behold, they will not believe.
Shh. God damn it. What happens is they made it up to the 7. I was counting up, and then they went crazy. But what happens is they made it all the way up, and they got this. You will get something. It says when you made it all the way up to the top of this thing, it will not be in any. You won't have wasted your time. That you got to. That you got to bring something back with you. The female got to go out to her neighbor's house and steal, before they get up and leave, right? That they're supposed to, they get up and get the something from their neighbor, borrow some silver and gold, and then there was this other thing that they got, but anyways, it meant white. Is the whole thing, this whole thing is about. It's the top chakra thing. But anyways, it's kind of fun here. But anyways, that's what they won, and it came in 3s. So I want you to understand that about this. I'm trying to show you, and I kind of went off fast. I have been working for hours, and you would not believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. Plus, I wrote on the back of a few. For the last 4 hours, and I ain't shitting, I said, you know what? Another one of these jugular veins that would like to be cut, would be Exodus, So working on Exodus has been like, oh, damn, that's been a long time. But it keeps repeating itself over and over again. And if there was some way that I could, give a quick synopsis of it, is that, Jacob is dead. He's left all these people behind, and remember, he's been. I gotta have the fan going, you guys. Just have to. Being eaten up and heated up. I hope you can hear me. But the way it goes is all the things that sprung out of his loins bring into this story, okay? And all of what they were saying was there were 70 souls that sprang from here. Alright, so that means just 7 right off the bat. So 7 is a really good number. It's like they're starting from the top of something. Because what they're talking about is there's the birth. It's the birth of Moses. And Moses is that child that was born to her because the left was going to kill it. Someone was going to kill this thing. And had planned on killing all the males that are born and let the females go. And that they didn't let this Hebrew gal was not going to allow that to happen. So she had this baby and she hid it for 3 days. And she then built an ark to put it in, which would be a basket of some kind, and she put something in pitch. It's the same story as Noah's Ark, believe it or not, and because it's following along the same guidelines, going along the same path, where it's, and they're saying that what he's saying, how to kill these things, how to kill this firstborn, is to toss them into the river, into the water, That water comes through this whole story all the time, and that story is this well that you find in your mind. It's Jacob's well. It's all of those things that we would think about it. The ladies at the well here, when Moses comes, he comes to the priest of Midian, The median, like we've already gone through this, but I'm tired of acting that shit out. It's stupid. But what happens is the priest of median is this guy in the middle, and that really median means strife, and what it actually also would mean is that it's like the center, it's the center of a frequency, modulation. There's something where he's got the 7 daughters, and he turns around and gives one of them away, and her name is Zipporah, right? So Zipporah would be the higher side then, so he takes this woman for his wife. That's the two sides coming together, and they have a child. All right, they have a child. Grisham is his name. So that's their son. So that means that this all starting off right off the bat as being like, wow, check this out. They're already up there and they're having babies and stuff like that. So this Moses, it could be Jesus, It could be all these people, But anyways, this the children of Israel are Jacob's children after they have multiplied and filled the space. All those heads to the different directions or the different places where they make their camps are the 4 parts of your mind. So you'll know that Judas is going to wind up at the camp of the children. Judah. That's the word you're going to get that. That's the east, so it's always going to be at the, at the east side. So everything is about the east. That's what parts the Red Sea, is this little wind that comes blowing through there. Let me tell you, none of this happened in real life. This is just so beautifully written and so put together. Oh my God. It's like, he's over here. Let's see, it's always family, family. He's getting to sup himself, and this other woman is the head chief. She's like the head thing. She's the big mother of the Pharaoh. She's that connection, and she has her the real mother of the child, which would be her slave, which would be a maid's bond, suppling her child. So anyways, this is just a really beautiful way of talking about how these things work. That the 3 is always the 1 is God. They're always like, I am God, or I said this. When you see that I, that's generally, it's like I want. Or when someone is talking about, I ask God this. This is when you're in asking. That's 1. That's that's a 1, or you're going into meditation. So it could be that or a 5. 5 would mean that that you put the 2 to 3 together. You brought all 5 together, and you made your sacrifice. And that's really what all this is. And I will rise you up, and I will bring you to a land of milk and honey. That's the manna from heaven. And later on in the story, it's when he, hits this thing twice. That means he put himself into this. This is later on. I don't even want to talk about that yet. But, this famous rock and all the trouble that happened from that is because he put himself in it. There's always this battle that says we don't want anything of you. So later on you'll see that, the things wind up being like, don't do it this way. I told you this way. And he gets mad at it, But he's talking about, I can't say anything, like me. I have this trouble with my, maybe enunciating and getting my point across perhaps somewhat. And he's talking about, I don't know, well, hey, isn't Aaron your brother? Isn't he a part of, hey, don't you know him and part of your family? Why, yeah, he is. He's a Levite. So that means he's from the east. He's on the east side of all this. So that's our intellect. We're going to use our intellect to talk your body into, handing over the goods, And so, they elect these people. They said, they started saying all these guys, there was like, there's 6. Is that what it works out? Yeah. No, it was the 12. They started pulling out all these people's names. This was this one, and this had this one, and this is the land of such and such, and this had this 20 tribes in it, and this was the father of such and such, and it had all this. It all adds up to 12. All right, that's the 12 apostles later. All right, but it's also the zodiac, because it's Jacob's children. That's the zodiac. It comes complete with 1 female, which is What's her name? Dinah. Dinah, I believe is her name, and it comes with two twins for Gemini. It's just so beautiful, and I don't know how nobody ever saw it before in their lives. But anyways, this firstborn is always going through there, trying to kill the firstborn all the time. So here he comes. Is it Moses? I guess not Moses. No shit. No. Yeah, he's gonna come in and perhaps give up their first, their son. Is what it looks like here. His wife Zipporah, which would be this we're talking about two people that are connected to the Lord. So it's a mother and a father for real. And so what she does is she takes a sharp stone and she circumcises her son before she gets killed. Says, hey, like now he's all bloodied up. This is my bloody husband, my bloody husband. She does it twice. So, you're looking at those kind of clues to fill you in as to what's going to go on next, But he is spared. She throws the bloody thing at his feet. He's got this blood all over him. It's his own blood. He was the sacrifice. This was going under again. This is another situation where you're wearing the lamb's blood. You're when Jesus has the blood, when you go under, you have taken the sacrifice. When you cut, the desires of the flesh, ow! It hurts in the real life, but man, but this is about going under. That's what it means. So you can be an idiot and get into pain and get into torture and get into bondage with one side, and you could just go inside and get your peace. One will give you nothing and the other one gives you everything. Anyways, it says, hey, who was this guy? He says, this man. He says, oh, this Moses guy. While we were trying, he came and found this well. He was beside us. We were right here. These men came up. The shepherds came up and ran the women off. And then Moses stood up, ran the men off, and the ladies returned. And there he poured water for them and their flock and everybody. This is Jesus just feeding everyone. This is Jacob's well. It's the same story. It's that whole idea, we waited till everybody was gathered before we fed them. And a lot of times that feeding something also means killing a lot of. So you gotta watch that sometimes, because this is where you want to get your spiritual food from. And so this would be something where he's always been really nice, so he doesn't have a whole lot of killing off yet. But that's probably going to come later on in the story, I'll tell you. So he meets this guy. He takes this group of insiders. All right, this is what we would call the Midianites, right? And he takes them and all the 7 women, the 7 daughters. And married the top gal, her name is Zipporah. Remember, it's supposed to be like it's a marriage. So they made their little thing. They had their little baby and what have you. So this is all about bringing the 3 of you into one. All right, and it just continues on. Okay, at the end, there's who was that? The kids, the girls, they were telling the story to their father, which is Jethro. And he says, who is this guy that did this? He says, well, he came and he saved us from the shepherds. He brought us out and fed us. So, it's the idea that when you go under, you're bringing the girls. It's the guys, it's the knocking at the door, the men in the town. Remember, this is the right side, left side situation, and left sides are men, right sides are females. So, here we're getting a good dose of the female energy being played out in these stories. And and they're the ones that are always there beside the stone helping out whoever it is that's on this journey. So let's just get over this idea that Moses ever lived, ever. Okay, because in this story, he represents you. And you're doing the exact same thing that those people were doing at the end of this goddamn book. Same thing. You're trying to break free of this place. You're saying, please let my people go. And he says, no. And then he says, I'm going to make them hold back a little bit. You know? You say, what are you going to make me? Going to make me suffer? Yeah, well, that's the 6. Trying to get there, you have to have that before you can leap over the top of that fence up there. But you know, it shows that he's going to help. He's there. Just come on. They ain't a whole mess of people over there. But I would tell you that that's the promised land. There's nothing about them acquiring a piece of land in the Middle East where he had promised the guys. What are those names again? You know, Abraham. Who's that? Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. 1, 2, 3. Those are number 3s. When they say 1, 2, 3, it's a 1, 2, 3. Those are 3 bringing in together. That's it's just very interesting. It's just like Israel is the 3 coming together. You know, just the number 3 is you joining with something that you're in duality with. That's the 1, 2, and the 3 coming together. And when 2 or 3 are gathered together, there Jesus or this energy is in the midst. I would like to go on and do some more of this, but I will tell you that this is where you get the I am story. I is a singular thing when you are to be asked. They're certainly going to ask me. They're going to want to know who you are. You know? Listen, these are answers to questions that nobody fucking cares to answer, you know? Listen, look how easy it is. It's right in front of us. It says, who am I? Who am I? I am. Just like he says, I am come down. I am come. You know, that's not bad English. That's how he says, I am come. I am come to save you. I am come at the nick of time. I am. Who is God? I want you to tell me, who is God? I am. So, that makes you the priest of Median. You're also the only priest that can go inside the temple and open up that little place over there. You're also the only one that can activate all of this electrical stuff inside of you. There's nothing that can happen on the outside that could cause any of this to happen on the inside. That's why, you know, you can't be like one of those New Age people. And I'm telling you, this is not New Age. This is the Bible I'm talking about. We have evidently woke up in some kind of, I wouldn't say it was a matrix anymore, unless it's on top of a matrix. But it depends on how the lower conscious has developed through the eons. That one that is the constant one that's been on Earth through all of these people and their sacrifices is feeding something. But I will still tell you that it is on the ignorant side. Alright, it's still probably even still a child when it comes down to it, as a trickster. And that I would say that that his IQ or its IQ is probably even lower than some of ours, some of the lowest people we know. But it does have the power, and that's the beast that we are feeding. This is what we have woke up to think that we are actually in the belly of the beast, and one of the only ways out of it is to poke holes in it. You know, and we know that the single eye that they portray as being evil to the human body is actually very it's evil to religion. It's to the religious. It's a type of kryptonite, and yeah, it's just interesting. All of these stories follow the same line. I would tell you that you go and listen to it. You put it on an audio, and you'll see the upside down. He goes, oh hey, he's asked. He says, hey, can I go back and check out my brethren, see if anybody's alive? You know, he's asking God. God says, yeah, go ahead, go with peace, go in peace. So, you're going down, you still have your Lord with you. He's still coming with you because that's what he says, carrying that sword with you, Grab that rod by the end, hold on to it. It turned into, this rod turned into a serpent. and Moses freaked out at the sight. He he hid himself, and when you hear hid himself, or he couldn't look to see something, he's in this darkness, where we can't see what we're really doing, and his face turns white. There's a story where let's show him the two different signs, right? There's one sign would be to hold on to the rod at the end, the snake, grab it by its tail. That's so kundalini, it's so crazy. So it means your hand, you're gonna reach out. The power is your hand. What's in your hand, Moses? A rod. Well, toss it on the ground. Tosses it on the ground. And it turns into the snake, and it freaks him out. He turns away from it. He can't bear the sight. Because you can't, we're in there in the dark. That's what that's meaning. I can tear this shit up. I really can. It's just absolutely wonderful. There's so much I am come down to deliver them from the land of Egypt and bring them up to the land of milk and honey. And then it talks about those 5 groups, let's see, who is the Hebonites and Dubonites and Shubonites and Bebonites and Sibonites. There's 6 of them. That's the works. That's poor thing, bastard. Those are the 6 chakras. In this particular part of it, the 6th and the 7th are separated a lot of times. Because 7 is actually the Sabbath. That's the day of rest, and that's what they start complaining about later on about the 2nd or 3rd part of the chapters. Is every time we went in to tell the Pharaoh to let me go, they made the laborers harder. They were making bricks now. And there's no straw, you motherfuckers. Only broken things, little stubbles, they would call it. So here they are, they're captive. We're captive on the left side of the brain. That's what do you call that? The Romans, those motherfuckers, under Roman rule, but they're under Egyptian rule here, It's always under some rule, those goddamn Jews, Well, that just means that those people are held back from being able to worship their Lord the way that they want to. And if we want to shut up the closet door and go within and shut off our minds and serve our Lord, we should be very well allowed to do that. Well, at one time in our world, they just stopped doing that. You had to lie. You had to lie to save your life. And then there was those people that were watching, because someone in their family died. They're going to make sure someone else in their family died if they lied. No. So I am. I is a single word, I. And am is like a am. I'm an am. I'm an am at the moment. That's an am. So, it's another single. So, it's really talking about this single eye. It's always told you the stone is where the seat of the soul and stuff is. Come on. Alright. What else is in here? Here I am. Moses, it says it twice. Take off your shoes. Oh, here's a good one. This one here. Moses leads his flock up the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God. An angel appears in a burning bush, fire amidst, something that talks from it. God speaks to him from amidst the bush, burning bush. And the bush burns but does not burn. Take off your shoes. Oh, this is what I hear. I have to do this first. The bush burns but does not burn. So Moses wants to look to see, what is that? So he turns to see this marvel. What that means, he turns aside to see. That's when he goes under. That's this, all right? So now he is separated from what's above and what's below in his and he hears, Moses. That's 2. Here I am. That's 1. So what happens? 3. That's the 3. Take off your shoes. Take off your shoes. Come hither. Come hither. He drew up thy hither. Yeah, no, it's absolutely beautiful. To take off your shoes, you have to remember you can't have anything on when you come into this holy place. That means your skin's gone and stuff like that. So they're just talking about cleaning your shoes. Shoes are those things that touch the earth. And that's the lower conscious. And you can't have any of that lower conscious with you. That's like your skin. So that's why you wash your feet. That's why they always wash feet in these things. Isn't that beautiful? This is wash your feet. Go wash your feet. Okay, well, I'm going to go sit back in the back, go back into my closet and, pray. Shit, fireman. It's just so beautiful. There's some miracle. The miracle where he puts his hand within himself and he pulls it out and it looks like hell. It looks like leprosy. It's white as snow. It's death. Oh, what is that? This is the second sign, that he's supposed to be able to tell his buddies that, look, you can be dead for a minute and then look, it comes right back again. Look, your skin, it comes right back again. You're supposed to show them the rod, show them that. So he teaches them how to sit down and meditate and how to reach this place, how to reach this promised land, how to reach out and grab the end of that thing and throw it down on the ground first, turn it into a snake, and then grab a hold of it, and it turns into, a stick again. It shows you have command of this. You can do. Show them this. Show them these tricks, man. Someone was going to see it. Did anybody ever tell you that before? What does that mean when he stuck his hand into his breast and then he came back and it was dead? His hand was leprosy and all this. It was white. It's death. It's what's inside. It's not actually. You got to die. Hey, it doesn't last very long. This way he's probably said, you guys got to go and kill yourself. He's talking like this. And they're like, and he says, no, look, here, I'll show you, And everyone's like, and then he's probably like, because he's freaking out too, Oh my God. God can do anything, pulls it back out. Look, just the same. Ha, look what I can do, Magic my ass. It's about us. It's how we... Don't be afraid of this. You can come right back, So it's not really like about dying. I hope I'm tearing it up. And I'm hoping I'm showing you guys. We have only gotten into the first 3 chapters of this, and I'm not going to keep going. All right. Let us go, and it's the 3rd day before we go into the wilderness where we can sacrifice ourselves for the king. Sacrifice ourselves for the king. 3 days. Wow, my goodness. Killing off the 5. Taking it on. Oh my God. This idea of every woman, you're not going to go home empty-handed once you made it up to this. I'm going to show a favor to my people. I'm going to show favor. Now, and these atheists, they eat this up. They say that God doesn't kill. Look, they're telling them to steal. They're getting ready to leave Egypt. They're getting ready to bag ass out all these slaves, and it's telling them to go steal from their neighbors. They just don't understand that their neighbors are right beside them. That's probably another Jewish person. It's not the Egyptian. But later on it is. You do know that you're going to steal from the Egyptians. You're going to bring something back from there. You sure are. You're just taking yourself out of there. You're taking your soul out of there. You're taking their control away from you. That's what you do. Ain't that beautiful? Did I get amen? I get an amen. It's funny. Yeah, so all of those. Here we go. We got the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Ananites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Justabites. That's 6. Then something happens. Gathers all those people together. Once they're all gathered together, oh my God, they better watch out, because he's gonna send those 12 other tribes of the armies of men that are going to come in there from all those different tribes of Judah. The armies from those guys are going to come in there and help gather all of the Jews together in one place, so they can get raft. And they think, hey, yeah, this is what. We built you this place now in the middle of the Middle East. I mean, talk about fire in the middle. That's what we're talking. They put this piece of shit crap right in the middle and saying the Bible did it. This is so crazy. This is living the myth. That's why it's hell. This represents hell. All right. Oh my God! And they brought hell on earth. I ain't shitting you. This is how it is. The obvious trickery, the biggest deception on earth. My God. Let me tell you. I'll find other things. I'll find that Exodus later on. I'm going to tell you that none of this is truth. That means it never happened. That means these people are living a myth. And even though they've been doing it for a few years, hell, I know people that go to Walt Disney every day on this computer. They're from one funny place to another. They live life in heaven all the time. My God. Anyways, listen, I don't know where I was going with that. But anyways, I'm telling you that this is all kind of fun. I think that I will, spend some time on some other key parts on this, so you understand where some sayings come from. We did go over the idea of cutting off the lower will save you from death, but death is what you want, and death was what it was talking about in the first place. Cutting off the lower is cutting off. It's just the same story. When Judas gives up Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, that's about your mind, and the silver is what you are. This is the thing that you take from your neighbor whenever, and it's the woman, the head of the house. She got to rob the neighbor while she was leaving that place. So anyways, I hope you understand some of this, but I think we can blow this whole damn thing out of the water, as being real, because it really is. It's just one big roller coaster ride. He's on his way back home. They says, please, can I come back home, God? And he says, go. So he puts his wife and his sons on an ass and sends them back into Egypt. So it's coming downhill, baby. So, all kinds of shit's gonna happen because he's bringing the rod of God with him. All right. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that to show you, hey, how interesting the stories can really be when it's got truth wrapped around it, Don't you think that's cool? I have never spent so much time. Really. Good gosh. Anyways, I'm enjoying this, but I've got a headache. It's taking forever, all right? And I'm telling you, that's really only like the first 6 chapters we covered in, just me chatting about it. But it's always going over and over and over. You go and tell him this, and you go and tell him this, and you go and tell him this. I haven't done it yet, but I bet you count that up, and he says that 5 times. I'm pretty sure. Because that's how else they would do it. You have to count, Moses, I am here. That's bringing 1 and the 2 together. That's really cool. It's just beautiful. But you have to have that eye for that, and you have to have an ear for it. And I don't think that you can listen to the Bible. It's hard to read it. And remember, it has to be the King James Version. These other ones will not have the proper words. It's just totally, throw them away. Toss them in the shit can. Burn them. We could have a big Bible burning thing, oh, they're burning the Bible. We'll make a good point that anything from here down is worthless. It's absolutely worthless. Thank you, Catholic Church. They learn not to burn books nowadays. They learn how to make fake ones. Is what they've done. So anyways, I love you guys. I really do. And keep practicing, it's one of those things. You can go for a while without having to do it, I think. You know, I just give myself every other week or every week I try to sit down for 3 or 4 days in a row and try to connect, and I don't know if I do or not. Remember, it's that idea that I have to turn away from God, or I want to know what's going on. I want to know what that means. Fire in the middle is another word for pyramid. And we have a pyramid in our head, and there's fire in the middle. That's that that's that place where we go to have the dross burned off of us. That's a different story. All right, I love you guys. I really do. Take care.